My name is David Sims. I'm the cantor here at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, and I am so glad that people try every week their best to make music, and whether that's in one of our choirs here of all ages that keep growing, people keep trying, but then also when I look out at the congregation of the big choir, that continues to grow as well, and the voices from the congregation, everybody is trying to participate and sing and pray, and that is the most inspiring to me.
Music, especially choral music, has always been a very important part of the worship experience for us. So we are delighted to become part of a congregation that values good music. For me in particular, it was also gratifying to again be part of a choir that works hard to contribute to the worship of the congregation. And David is one of those very talented musicians who not only conducts the notes but also interprets the text for the choir, so that the result is that the meaning of the text is sung as well as the music. Just one of the many reasons we're glad to be here.
The first Sunday we worshiped at Holy Trinity, Pastor Ingrid said, "No matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are welcome here." I found comfort in that, as I felt it gave me space to explore what my own faith tradition means to me, without the pressure of needing to conform to what someone else would like me to think and believe. I feel that in this community I am able to continue to search for opportunities to apply my faith to the challenges I see around me. In addition, I love the music here. David is a gift to Holy Trinity, and am especially pleased that the youth, under the fine leadership of Ann Schruten, are given opportunities to share their talents in our worship services.
For me, one of the most important things in my involvement has been the music, because I love to sing, but also I know that it's a important and wonderful way to express your faith. So I really appreciated being a part of the choir, and I just love to sing.
My name is Libby Olstead, and I'm here to talk a little bit about goal number 2, competency around issues of race at Holy Trinity. We have a ways to go on this goal. It's going to be a journey that's going to take a while, but we made some good progress in the last year. Some of the examples of things that we've done that we feel proud of, quite a bit of work on education around race. We've had multiple discussions after people in groups have looked at films, at plays in the community, and in talking about books that people have read together. We've also had some good work around more intentional workshops. Just before the holidays, we had a workshop on difficult conversations about race, people anticipating going home for Thanksgiving and what would they talk about. And then we've also done the ongoing small group discussions with folks. We now have had 115 people who've participated in these groups that are often focused a lot on white privilege and race issues.
I'm proud to be a part of a congregation that values such inclusiveness. One of the reasons why I joined Holy Trinity is that commitment to an all-inclusive congregation. And even though that I realize that there are a lot of challenges ahead, I think many members of this congregation are certainly in favor of that. I also serve on the call committee, and at a very pivotal time in this congregation in which the congregation has put its faith in our hands to search for and discern an associate pastor who will go with us as we move forward in the struggle, in our faith struggle, I guess, to make this an even more inclusive congregation and to enhance our ministry in such a way. This is a time of great change in this country. There are, I think, many challenges that people of color, sexual minorities face. Of course, we've come a long way, but there's still a long way to go. And I think within the Lutheran Church, we're not the only congregation that knows that a commitment to fostering diversity, embracing it, and ingraining it in our faith community is not only the right thing to do. It's essential for the, I think, survival and the continued growth of the congregation.
Thinking about the goal of working towards awareness of intersectionality of race, gender, and class, there were a couple of things that came to mind. The witness I have seen from the pulpit in preaching, describing God as very feminine, describing God as an immigrant, are things that have been very strong themes. And when we know that God is not white and male and of good resources, then we know that all of us are represented in that.
This year, the Church Council participated in the Intercultural Development Inventory, spending time in each meeting in small group interactions and developing individual plans for growth in cultural competence. Most significantly, though, for me, the second half of the goal states that we will be led by communities partners and communities of color as we work toward this goal. It will be good, though, maybe a switch for us to listen to what these sources have to say we need to be doing rather than determining on our own what needs to be done.
The thing I love about goal number 2 and the way this congregation set it up is that the goal is based on growing in competency. So I think on the individual level that's really important, but also as a community. And I'm thinking specifically something we did for the first time this past year is that we hosted some conversation circles for folks of this community who identify as people of color or indigenous. And this was not a focus group. This wasn't for us as a congregation to get information from them. It's like, what do you need or what's on your minds? This was in response to hearing from those communities that despite the best intentions of this congregation, this can still feel very much like a white space. And so our hope was to simply create a space that was free as possible from some of that whiteness.
What's most interesting to me is the extent to which, as a congregation, we are just basically learning what it means to be involved in the community and to welcome the diversity of people that live in this community, not only to welcome them into our midst, but for us to figure out what it means to enter into the community where they live. And we have a long history with reconciling in Christ, so our openness to LGBTQ persons goes back at least 30 years. I think the new frontier is really how do you engage with people of color? We're still in the early stages of that, but I really do think the congregation is committed to that project, and I'm really hopeful that going forward we will figure out what that means.
One of the things that I enjoy about Holy Trinity is how vibrant it is. There's a great worship life here, but also a wonderful sense of serving community.
We help support the church's goal of building the commonwealth of God through caring for creation in a lot of different ways. We initiated and helped plan a series of adult forums on creation care. We supported the Women Against Military Madness's ban on nuclear weapons. We work with Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light, Minnesota 350, and the Minneapolis ELCA Eco Faith Network on their campaign.
Particularly noteworthy over the last year, maybe 2 years, is the amount of prayer that's dedicated to care of creation in our worship service. I think this is a significant aspect of our care of creation, actually, because it lends communal support to the work of the stronger activists in the congregation.
This year, Holy Trinity has grown in accompanying the vulnerable by committing ourselves to be a sanctuary supporting congregation. And over the course of that year, we have supported sanctuary congregations who are hosting undocumented immigrants threatened with deportation in their buildings. And Holy Trinity members, dozens of Holy Trinity members, have partnered with those congregations. We've done all of this with an eye toward our own advocacy and how we can create a world where the sanctuary movement is no longer necessary.
During Advent, Holy Trinity Sanctuary Support Task Force sponsored videos and discussions and speakers relating to immigration during the gatherings. As a result, I connected a Holy Trinity couple to a pro bono legal group, and it developed into a situation where the Sanctuary Task Force is helping to support a young man in a sanctuary setting in South Minneapolis.
So I've been privileged to be a part of some efforts at Holy Trinity around sexual violence. We've had some opportunities for education, commitment to action in the community, and some service projects. We were part of a forum about sex trafficking in the Midtown area. We had some prayer vigils along Lake Street. We assembled hygiene kits for various organizations who support survivors of sex trafficking. But we've also had some forums where we've had a chance to examine how sexual violence has played out in our community and in our personal lives.
One of the treasures that we found when we joined Holy Trinity is that the doors are open every day, and that the community members here in the parish all have something that they're doing outside. And so that directly led me to working with the Longfellow Community Council, issues of day-to-day for all of us in our neighborhood, and LSS, Lutheran Social Service, where I'm privileged to help people every day work with their financial situation.
For me, I was a 34-year teacher, so of course working with children and being in a school setting has always drawn me. So now in retirement, I'm just starting to work with the students at Longfellow School, the moms over there, helping them in the knitting class. And the other thing that I take out into the community is to visit with people who aren't able to come to Holy Trinity, and to just keep a growing and ongoing relationship with them.
And what I've most appreciated is how the church has worked faithfully on the minimum wage and living wage, and ending the scourge of payday lending through Exodus lending.
And I would say that encouraging people or supporting people in applying their faith to the public square has been a theme or a factor in this church forever. I'm not involved in confirmation, but I remember a couple years ago hearing that the confirmands wanted to talk about cultural appropriation. And I thought, well, that is certainly not anything my confirmation class talked about when I was a kid. And even last summer, the summer program, when the kids were charged with building a city in the gym, so they had to talk about city planning kinds of issues, quality of life. How would you create a neighborhood that works for people? So it just feels like this place is full of that kind of energy.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Holloway, and my husband Brian and I joined Holy Trinity in October of 2016. And I want to talk a little bit about how Holy Trinity has done a great job creating space for new members and allowing them to share their gifts and participate in the community. And the big way that Holy Trinity's done that is simply by asking people. That invitation makes a difference and builds relationships. I'm grateful to current members who've asked me to participate in this community through choir, the 20s, 30s, and 40s group, kinship dinners, and other fellowship opportunities. It helps us newbies get involved and feel at home in the congregation, so thanks.
Well, I'm Carolyn Schur.
And I'm June Prangy. We've been members here for a little over a year.
Officially. Yeah. And one of the things that I felt so welcoming is because I have mobility issues, and what the congregation has done to make me feel welcome and even a real part of the congregation. First of all, that they provide the space right in the church where one can have your mobility device there. That space is provided, and just the offering to take us places if we need to get to someplace, and to just make us feel that we're part. And I think another thing I've been aware of is because we speak of that the congregation is not doing it, it's God's work really. And so the prayers that I can offer for the congregation and so on, that all makes me feel that that is also a welcome part of my contributions, so to speak. So, yeah.
I wanted to stress that individual members have made us feel welcome and invited us to participate in activities. Just the arrangement of signing up on Sunday mornings and the new member class have been very supportive, and the opportunity to sing in the choir and lead in worship. We wish that we could do more, but we're thankful to be accepted as we are.